Family. So I grew up on the Amanda Show. A lot of us did. And Amanda Bynes, she was credible from all that. Then Drake and Josh were recurring characters on the Amanda Show. Drake and Josh were the best aspects of my personal experience watching the Amanda Show because, those are the boys, you feel me? And Drake and Josh's chemistry, unmatched. I feel bad for, the kids nowadays that don't have that same experience with, TV shows first coming out, mid-2000s. Man, this is peak TV. Amanda Bynes coming from all that. Drake and Josh coming from the Amanda Show. Harley, Miranda Cosgrove coming from Drake and Josh, and then, Victoria Justice coming from Zoe 101. It was the Dan Schneider formula. Taking a recurring character from a previous show, giving them their own show. People are going to watch it. Automatic moolah, money, easy money. So, Drake and Josh, the viewership was guaranteed. We were heavily invested. I was only like 4 or 5 years old when Drake and Josh first came out. I was definitely tuned in. When I was growing up on Drake and Josh, Drake was like the pinnacle of cool. Like, y'all that grew up in the mid-2000s know, like, Drake Bell was like what cool was. Cool hair, plays guitar, gets all the girls, riches all the shorties, doesn't give a fuck about school, and is self-centered, charming, gets through life, with charm, with not giving a fuck. That was what cool was, to me at least. That was my perfect idea of cool. And Josh, he was represented as the complete opposite. That was what was uncool to me. Chubby, nerdy, playing video games, magic tricks, spazzy, clammy, school-oriented. All that was uncool to me, and all of us, can relate. We wanted to be Drake, and we didn't want to be Josh. At least that's how I was. So that first season of Drake and Josh really defined Drake and Josh as one-dimensional characters. One archetype, one is cool, the other isn't. They're stereotypical in the first season. And it isn't until season 2 that we start to see a little more depth. In this video in particular, I'm going to be talking about the football episode, which I think pivoted the direction that Drake and Josh's character development went. I think it broke the barriers of Drake and Josh and kind of made them more into real people. This season 2 episode really shows us what's most important to Drake and Josh. Drake being, the approval of others, what others think of him, and Josh putting others before himself, even if it causes inconvenience for him. So this episode starts out typical Drake. You already know Drake got the game, risen up a shorty, a cheerleader. As he's about to close, this dude Josh, he comes in and he embarrasses Drake with some magic. Cracks the wrong kind of egg. You feel me? Like, come on, Josh. This episode, it starts with Drake, being tired of Josh's nerdy persona and suggests that to make him cooler, he should try out for the football team. At first, Josh is hesitant, but he gives it a try. Later in the episode, Josh, when he comes back from home, he's injured from the football tryouts and tells Drake that he decided to be the equipment manager. And to Drake's dismay, he's not feeling that. He doesn't really think that being the equipment manager is going to make him cool. Once again, Josh embarrasses Drake when Drake, is in the hallway and he gets invited to play a gig for a college party.
Yo, I was watching this shit. I was heated. Don't this nigga look like Richard Reed? Mr. Fantastic looking ass boy.
Once you see Josh come through with his football equipment, Drake is automatically embarrassed by Josh's antics and gets uninvited to the college party, and that was Drake's last straw. That's what I'm talking about. Drake being more concerned about how other people perceive him versus Josh, who's just authentically himself, isn't really too concerned about people's opinions about him, as opposed to Drake, who the approval of others really truly mattered to him. So then later in the episode, in the locker room scene, Josh, he, as the equipment manager, the coach asked him to bake brownies for the whole team. I know the coach, he's constantly complaining about how he's a failed singer.
I wanted to be a singer. Look at me. Do I look like a singer? No!
He's like, I have nothing.
I look like a man living a wasted life!
Talk about I need a karaoke machine, motherfucker. Oh, then Josh, he makes brownies for the team. When he makes the brownies, Megan tries to get a lick of the spoon. He doesn't let Megan get a lick. So Megan decides to sabotage the brownies and puts flour dirt in them. Once the team eats Josh's brownies, they make them all sick. And the center, he eats too many brownies. He has to sit out the next game. Drake suggests that Josh fills in for the center. At first, Josh doesn't want to, but Drake, he refuses to let Josh quit because he doesn't want to be known as the brother of the guy who basically made the team forfeit and let the school down. Once again, Drake being concerned about what others think of him. And this is an example of Drake putting his image over what's important to the people around him, because he's not going to get hurt. But Josh, he suggests that Josh fills in for the center, even though he knows that it's not going to affect him directly. So Josh is paranoid. Drake devises a plan where he's going to dress up the school janitor to take Josh's place as a center. The school janitor, he's a pro football player that got a head injury so bad that he doesn't even remember his own name. They know that he's gonna do it. Then comes time for the game. The janitor plays and he gets another head injury, an injury so bad that he regains his memory. Also remembers the $10,000 that Drake and Josh owe him. It's in the middle of the game. The team, they have to forfeit because they don't have their center. Up until this point of the show, the most impactful scene of the series, the team, they can't finish the game before the coach decided to forfeit, and Josh, he decides to step in willingly and play the center, even though at first he didn't want to even do this. Drake was the one that was pushing him to play football. Now he's stepping in when the team needs him the most, and decides to finish the game. So this is the most important scene in the episode, and it's a perfect example of breaking those stereotypical archetypes of the cool guy and the nerd. Drake and Josh, they aren't just, the cool guy and the nerds. They're real people that, where Drake, he realizes being cool, it's not just getting the approval of everyone, looking a certain way for everyone. It's about, the integrity that it takes to do the right thing, even when it's at the expense of our conveniency. Putting others before ourselves when they need us the most, which is a quality that Josh has that I never appreciated, never admired, until I got older. So the episode ends with Josh getting knocked 20 yards into the end zone and winning the game for the team. Does this cool magic trick that wasn't working at the beginning of the episode, but eventually is successful, showcasing how cool his magic skills are. Drake, his horny ass chases after these two cheerleaders, typical Drake shit. And then the episode ends. So I really learned a lot from this episode. When I was watching Drake and Josh, I thought there were two clear definitions of what being cool was and what not being cool was. I thought what being cool was Drake being selfish, girl crazy, not giving a fuck about school, not giving a shit about anything, going through life with charm, being a musician, being able to play the guitar, being in a band. That's what I thought. That's what the pinnacle of cool was to me when I was growing up. And Josh, he was the opposite. That's what I thought being uncool was. Being school oriented, clumsy, dorky, nerdy, doing magic tricks in video games, being cheesy and chubby. That's what was uncool was to me. That I always wanted to be Drake, and I never wanted to be Josh. That's how I looked at it, and I know that's how a lot of us growing up looked at it as well too. And the girls, they wanted to be with Drake, and they didn't want to be with Josh. But as I grew up, as I got older, I realized that it was Josh that was the cool one this whole time. The definition of being cool changed for me. Being cool is not about not giving a shit about anything, being worried about what other people think of you, the other people's opinions, their perception of you, because it really don't matter what people think of you. But in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, that was what was high school was. I mean, I wasn't there, but I know, with Mean Girls and Zoe 101, everyone's, Lizzie McGuire too, everyone was concerned about, how they were perceived. And during those times, after I grew up, I realized what being cool was being brave enough to be your authentic self. If people don't accept you for you, fuck them.
You don't like it if you're being yourself? Fuck them! Fuck them! Fuck them up against the wall with handcuffs on and crazy glue on lips.
Fuck them up against the wall. Bernie Mac. Being cool is about being there for others when they need you the most. I think it was really important when Drake realized this at the end of the episode, at the end of the football episode. This is a quality that Josh always had. I think it creates a pivotal moment within their relationship that makes him realize the only approval that matters is from the people that matter to us the most. It just taught me not to be concerned about putting up this image to look cool, to look, because that's all I was worried about in high school. It took me getting older to realize what being cool was having each other's backs, being loyal to the people that care about, that truly care about me, and let me be my authentic self. Guys, that's the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed that and like that, please make sure you like and subscribe. The last video that I dropped is going to be in the description down below. I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Love.